Hello, my friends. Welcome back. Blooming English Avenue. Grow your English. Bloom your future. I'm Sam, and today we're diving into something super important: English conversation. A lot of learners tell me, I understand English, but I can't speak. Maybe that sounds familiar. Maybe you feel nervous when it's time to talk. Maybe your words come out slowly. Maybe you understand others, but you freeze when it's your turn to reply. And you know what? That's completely normal. The good news is, conversation is not a talent you're born with. It's a skill. And like any other skill, you can build it through time, practice, and the right approach. In today's episode, we'll explore how beginners can start speaking and how you can build fluency step by step. We'll also talk about one powerful idea: repetition, and why listening to the same things again and again can actually transform your English. So, let's get started. Many people believe that some people are just naturally good at languages. But research says that's not true. Conversation isn't a gift, it's a learned skill. Think of it like learning to play piano, ride a bike, or cook. You don't get better by thinking about it. You get better by doing it regularly. At first, speaking English feels difficult. You think slowly, you make mistakes, you search for words. That's all part of the process. Every fluent speaker you know started exactly the same way, with short, simple sentences. The only difference? They didn't stop. They kept practicing even when it was awkward or frustrating. They made mistakes, corrected them, and moved forward. Until one day, conversation became automatic. So here's your first big reminder: you can become fluent. It's not magic, it's not talent. It's consistent, slow, daily practice. Now, many beginners try to speak fast and use big, advanced words, but that's actually not the best strategy. When you try to sound like a native too soon, you end up feeling stressed and you stop speaking altogether. Start small. Use simple, short sentences. Use words you already know. If you don't know a word, don't panic. Explain it in another way. For example, if you don't know the word chef, just say, the person who cooks food in a restaurant. That's still communication. And communication, not perfection, is the goal. You don't need perfect grammar to be understood. Of course, grammar matters. But in the beginning, don't let it block you. If your sentence isn't perfect, it's okay. People will still get your meaning. Here's another big mistake many learners make. They focus too much on speaking and not enough on listening. Remember, language enters through your ears before it comes out of your mouth. Listening is the first step to good conversation. When you listen to English every day, your brain starts learning patterns. It notices how sentences are structured, how words connect, and the rhythm or music of conversation. This is called input. The more input your brain gets, the easier it becomes to speak naturally later. At first, just listen without pressure. You don't need to understand every single word. Even if you get 50%, that's fine. Your brain is learning quietly in the background. Over time, those sounds turn into understanding. And then, Words start coming out of your mouth naturally, without you even trying. Now, let's talk about one of the most powerful tools for improving your conversation skills: repetition. Repetition means hearing, reading, and saying the same words again and again. It might sound boring, but it's exactly how your brain builds strong language connections. Here's how it works. When you hear a sentence once, your brain makes a small, weak memory link. If you never hear it again, that link disappears. But if you hear it multiple times, today, tomorrow, next week, that connection grows stronger and faster. Soon, you don't need to think. The sentence just comes out. That's why listening to the same podcast several times is such a powerful habit. The first time, you understand the main idea. The second time, you catch new words you missed. The third time, you start noticing pronunciation and grammar. The fourth time, you can try shadowing, speaking with the audio. Each time, your brain becomes faster and more confident. Now let's talk about shadowing. One of the best techniques you can try. Shadowing means speaking at the same time as the audio. You listen and you repeat along with it, like an echo that moves together with the speaker. At first, it's difficult, but after a few sessions, your pronunciation, rhythm, and speed improve dramatically. Your mouth starts learning the movements of English sounds, just like a musician repeating the same song. That's muscle memory. And it's the key to fluency. Think of speaking English like building muscles. If you go to the gym once a month, nothing changes. But if you go every day, even for a short time, you get stronger. It's the same with English. Make it part of your daily routine. Listen to a short podcast every morning. Talk to yourself in English while cooking or walking. Repeat useful phrases out loud while you shower. Watch a video and describe what you saw using simple sentences. The key isn't how long you practice, it's how often. 15 minutes every day is better than 2 hours once a week. Your brain learns best with short, regular practice. So remember, my friend, speak slowly, listen often, and repeat again and again. Step by step, word by word, you'll bloom into a fluent, confident speaker. Thank you for joining me here at Blooming English Avenue. Until next time, keep listening, keep repeating, and keep blooming. Fluency doesn't mean speaking fast. It means speaking naturally and clearly, without long pauses. You don't have to sound like a native speaker. You just have to communicate in a way that people understand and enjoy. Here's what the journey looks like. At first, you translate in your head, slow and tiring. Then, with practice, you start remembering whole phrases. You stop focusing on grammar and start focusing on meaning. Your brain becomes faster, your speech smoother. And finally, conversation feels easy, natural. This takes time, but it always works. If you stay consistent with listening, repetition, and daily speaking. Now, a quick but important note. Don't wait for a native speaker to practice with. You can start right now by talking to yourself. Describe your day. Ask yourself questions. Pretend you're explaining something to a friend. This self-talk might feel strange at first, but it's extremely effective. It helps you think in English, not just translate. It builds comfort and confidence in your own voice. You can start small. Talk about what you're doing. I'm making coffee. I'm walking to work. I'm checking my phone. These simple sentences help your brain connect actions with English naturally. And as you get more comfortable, make it longer. For example, explain what happened today. This morning I woke up late, so I had to rush to work. The traffic was terrible, but I managed to arrive on time. That's real practice. Speaking full sentences about real experiences. It doesn't matter that no one is listening. You're training your brain and your mouth to work together. Here's another tip. Don't worry too much about mistakes. Mistakes are not a problem. They're progress markers. Every time you make a mistake, it means you tried something new. And that's exactly how learning happens. Think about a child learning to speak. They make hundreds of mistakes every single day, but they don't stop. They keep speaking. They keep listening. They keep repeating. That's why they become fluent so quickly. So be like a child in that sense. Laugh at your mistakes. Learn from them and keep going. Your goal isn't perfection. It's communication. Now let's look at how repetition connects with confidence. When you repeat phrases often, your brain begins to trust itself. It knows what to say, and your fear starts to disappear. The more you repeat, the less you think, and the more natural you sound. Let's take an example. Imagine you practice the phrase, "Could you please repeat that?" At first, you have to think about each word, but after saying it 50 times, you don't think at all. It just flows. That's confidence. So, if there's a sentence or phrase you like, don't move on too fast. Use it again and again, in real situations. Or in your self-talk. You'll be surprised how quickly it becomes part of you. Now, let's talk about rhythm. The music of English. Every language has its own rhythm. And English is no different. Native speakers don't speak word by word. They connect words together like a melody. For example, instead of saying, "I want to go to the store," you'll hear, "I want to go to the store." This rhythm is what makes conversations sound natural. You can train it by listening carefully and repeating out loud, even if it feels a little funny. Shadowing, which we talked about earlier, helps you do this perfectly. When you repeat together with a speaker, your brain learns the pattern, and your mouth learns the flow. At first, you might miss words. That's okay. With time, you'll start matching the rhythm naturally. Here's another small but powerful secret. Focus on phrases, not words. When you learn a new language, it's tempting to memorize vocabulary lists. But speaking doesn't work like that. You don't speak word by word. You speak in chunks, or groups of words that naturally go together. For example, "Nice to meet you. How have you been? Let me think about it. That sounds great." These short, ready-made phrases are what fluent speakers use all the time. You can use them too, and sound natural instantly. So next time you learn a new word, try to learn it inside a phrase. Not just think, but "I'll think about it." Not just great, but "that sounds great." The more phrases you collect, the easier conversation becomes because you're not building sentences from zero every time. Let's talk a bit about daily habits. If you want to improve your English conversation, you need to make it part of your lifestyle. Here's a simple routine you can follow. In the morning, listen to a short English podcast while you get ready. During the day, repeat a few useful phrases in your mind or out loud. At night, spend 10 minutes shadowing or summarizing what you heard that day. That's it. You don't need hours. Just small, steady practice every single day. Remember, consistency beats intensity. It's not about how much you do once in a while, but how often you do it. Just like exercising, small daily practice keeps your language muscles strong. Now, you might ask, how long will it take before I'm fluent? The truth is, it depends on how often you practice and how deeply you engage with the language. But most learners notice a big change in about 3 months of steady practice. 3 months of daily listening, shadowing, and self-speaking. And suddenly, you start thinking in English. You reply faster. You stop translating. You feel comfortable. That's the real sign of progress. When English stops feeling foreign and starts feeling familiar. So, let's do a quick recap before we continue. Conversation is not a talent. It's a skill. You can build it through small, daily practice. Don't rush. Simple words are powerful. Listen more than you speak. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Focus on phrases, not single words. Shadowing improves rhythm and pronunciation. Talk to yourself every single day. If you follow these 8 steps, your confidence will grow faster than you imagine. Keep going. One step, one phrase, one day at a time. Now, let's go even deeper into what makes conversation flow. Not just words, but connection. Real communication isn't about perfect grammar or advanced vocabulary. It's about sharing meaning, ideas, and feelings in a natural rhythm. When you speak, your goal isn't to impress people. It's to make them understand you and feel comfortable speaking back. Think about the people you enjoy listening to. They don't rush. They use pauses. They speak clearly and naturally. That's what you should aim for too. Calm, confident communication. You don't have to use complicated words. You can express everything with simple ones, if your tone feels natural. For example, instead of saying, I am extremely fatigued, just say, I'm really tired. Both are correct, but one feels warm and natural. And that's the kind of English you want to practice. Let's return to listening, because it's the foundation of everything. When you listen actively, your brain does something amazing. It starts predicting language. You begin to guess what comes next in a sentence. This prediction skill helps you understand faster and speak smoother. To improve this, try listening to the same voices regularly. It could be a YouTube channel, a podcast, or even your favorite movie clips. Over time, you'll start to hear patterns, how speakers connect ideas, how they stress certain words, and how emotions change their tone. The more you listen, the more you feel the language. And once you feel it, speaking becomes natural. Now, let's talk about thinking in English. A big goal for many learners. At first, it feels impossible. Your thoughts appear in your native language, and you have to translate them. That's normal at the start. But little by little, you can train your brain to think directly in English. Here's how to begin. When you look at something, describe it in English. That's a blue chair. The sky looks cloudy today. When you make plans, think in English. After lunch, I'll study. I should call my friend. When you feel emotions, say them in English. I'm tired. I'm happy. I'm worried. These small thoughts slowly create an English mindset. It's like turning your brain's settings to English mode. And the more you do it, the more natural it feels. Let's connect that to another powerful habit. Speaking out loud. You can practice speaking anytime, anywhere, no partner needed. You just need your voice and a little confidence. Try this. Every day, choose one topic. For example, my favorite food, my weekend, or how I study English. Speak for 1 or 2 minutes without stopping. If you forget a word, explain it another way. If you make mistakes, don't stop. Just keep going. Over time, you'll notice that you pause less, hesitate less, and find words faster. That's how fluency grows. Not from perfection, but from momentum. Let's talk a bit more about shadowing, because it's truly one of the fastest ways to improve your speech. When you shadow, don't just repeat the words. Imitate the energy of the speaker. Copy the pauses, copy the tone, copy the emotion. You're not just learning vocabulary, you're learning rhythm, feeling, and timing. If you do this for even 10 minutes a day, your pronunciation and confidence will grow quickly. You'll notice your mouth and tongue start moving differently, naturally forming the sounds of English. That's how real fluency feels. And remember, you don't have to understand every single word at first. Just focus on rhythm and let understanding come with time. You'll be amazed at how your listening and speaking improve together. Now, I want to share something important. Fluency is not a finish line. It's a journey, a path that keeps going. As long as you keep walking, even native speakers keep learning new words every day. So don't wait until you feel ready. Start speaking now. Even with your current level, every conversation, every sentence, every mistake is part of your growth. Imagine your English as a small plant. Every time you listen, you water it. Every time you speak, you give it sunlight. And every time you repeat, you help it grow stronger. That's why we call it Blooming English Avenue. Because your language grows a little more every single day. Now, here's a simple 5-step plan you can follow to build your speaking habit, starting today. Step 1. Listen daily. Find something short and clear, maybe a podcast or YouTube video, around 10 to 15 minutes. Step 2. Repeat and shadow. After your first listen, go back and speak along with the audio. Copy the speaker's rhythm and tone. Step 3. Self-talk. Describe what you're doing or thinking throughout your day. Let your thoughts flow in English naturally. Step 4. Review key phrases. Choose 5 to 10 natural expressions every week and use them in real life or during self-practice. Step 5. Reflect weekly. Once a week, record yourself speaking and listen again. Notice your progress. Celebrate every small improvement. Follow this system for 3 months. That's all it takes to notice real change. Your confidence will grow. Your speech will flow more easily. And your fear will fade away. Now imagine this moment in the future. You're speaking English without thinking too hard. You're not translating in your head. You're just expressing yourself freely. And it feels good. That moment will come because of what you start doing today. Not big steps. Small, consistent ones. Every minute you listen, every sentence you repeat, every word you speak. It all adds up. So, keep going. You're already on your way to fluency. So remember these last words, my friend. Fluency isn't speed. It's clarity. It's not showing off. It's connection. And it's not about being perfect. It's about being understood. With patience, repetition, and daily practice, you will get there. You will speak naturally, confidently, and beautifully. In your own way. Thank you so much for joining me today on Blooming English Avenue. I'm Sam, and I'm proud of you for every small step you take toward your dream. Keep listening. Keep speaking and keep growing, one conversation at a time. See you next time, my friend.